reading parallel the, let's say, a paragraph Fernando was reading, and he was asking about what he was reading. Fernando has in front of him or at home the English version. We have the Hebrew version, and we try. This is the first take this year to see. Yes, so there is a question here. Why is that? For what reason? Mipnei ma, from what cause or reason? Ma, yes. Rasha v'tov lo, evil man has good or goodness, or he feels good. V'tzadik, and a righteous man or righteous, and he feels bad or not good. And here comes the answer. מפני שצדיק כבר היה רע לשעבר ועתה נענש. And he says, because a righteous man was already not good in the past, and now there's, in a way, there's not punishment, but there's a payoff, let's call it like this. So there is questions here, and if you will say, is it punishing on how do you say, things or mistaken that have happened when people were, yes, in their, how do you say, young age, in the teenage time, and so on. So there's a great discussion, but this is from the books. Thank you, Fernando. I will dwell on it. Yeah. Thank you
Thanks,
for it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And because we are cross-referencing, I'm reading at the moment few sources just to put around, let's say, to go around this. It's interesting. So good evening, Yanis. Good afternoon, Abigail. Good morning, Fernando. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Yes, this is in this Shabbat. We're reading Parashat Noah portion. If you have any questions that you would like to ask about Noah, the flood, or anything that comes to your mind, feel free. Today, what was coming shortly before class is Psalms. I think that I put it here under notes. Psalms again, 29. Hashem Lamabul Yashav. Hashem Lamabul Yashav, the being, yes, is sitting when there's flood. This is interesting because the flood, what is the flood? Is it historical flood? Is it only related to Noah? Why Psalms bother to mention that the being is sitting in the flood, or to the flood, to the presence of the flood? Yes, the being is sitting to the presence of the flood. Or let's say, let's look into it. Yanis, good evening. We're so happy that you're here. Would you like to ask or to share anything? Abigail? Yes. Yes. Hashem Lamabul Yashav. Is it related to apocalypse mind? It happens every week. There are many lenses to look at this verse. By the way, you can open, yes, Psalms 29, verse 10. I think I put it here under notes. Yes, it's all the time. The flood it's flooding. Yes, it's all the time. It's not something that happened as historical event. Flooding is this is what happens all the time. Downloads of softwares of chaos and so on. So here in Israel, there's, yes, open, no, we're not, no, yeah, not open Twitter. It makes completely lunatic being there. There's no filtering, there's no order. So, what is the flood? Mabul, in Hebrew, Mabul, Membet. Why Hebrew does not come to here? Membet, Vav, Lamed, Mabul. Mabul, from bilbul, from confusion. There's so much. So the question is there only historical flood on which that we're reading in the Bible, or this is how it is in the world when there's so much association with the doer, with the maker, and so. And why does Psalm says, Hashem lamabul yashav, that the being is sitting in his presence in front of the flood or so? Yes, this is the question. Being, the being, against the flood of becoming and all kinds of option. You can be a fox, you can be a lion, and all the processes in space and time, all the processes, this is interesting, all the processes in space and time are the flood. Is it clear or not? Yes? All processes in space and time, yes, are the flood. Do we understand that? Because what is a process? A leads to B, yes, and from B you can act C or D, and there's more and more splits and more decisions to make, yes, and far, yes, into the manifestation. So any process in space and time is like a flood, and it's very noisy and very chaotic. And then there's a picture of still, Hashem being Lamabul Yashav. So if we have a day when there's so much noise, so much chaos, so much nonsense, so much people are shouting, it happened this week here as well, because maybe it was very hot, also very, very heavily political activity and interest and so on. So Hashem Lamabul Yashav, sit still. Yeah, being is not outside of us in Mars, in Venus, just sitting. Yes, be still. Be still, and then we can see that our true nature is not of the becoming, is not of the noises. Yes, Hashem Lamabul Yashav, being is sitting in presence, sitting. Yes, being is sitting. What does it mean sitting? Why sitting expresses, yes, against the flood? The flood is all the time movement, confusion, yes, chaotic movement, mechanic movement. Yes, be still. So against this chaotic, yes, mechanical movement, like insects, yes, sitting. Sitting, it means be still, not that we can see that we are not, yes, the process of time. Because what happens is usually the brain is always has this ability to attach itself to everything that moves, appears, yes, and Shabbat, Lashevet, to sit. In sitting, what do we have? Stability. Yes, in sitting, Lashevet, excellent Fernando, sitting, we have stability because this is not reality of two legs. Yes, man has two legs. This is the duality. Right, left, walking, duality. Sitting, there's a cancel. Yes, by merely sitting, there's a cancel of duality. Do you see that, Abigail Yanis? Do you see that? This is why there's a lot of, how can we say, phrases, yes, about sitting or a place to study, yes, Mitivta, Shiva, or the sitting, yes, when we sit and not participating in the process of becoming, we can see that our true nature is being and not of the becoming. The becoming is just when the brain is engaged, and then you have to go from A to B and to bring C to D and so on. Yes, Fernando, interestingly, usually when one sits, one crosses legs, becoming one. Excellent. Yes, very good. Yes. Yes. That's correct. Yes, because in crossing legs there is only one, basically 1 foot or 1 leg is, and leg, regel, is the tree of life. Yes, when sitting, and usually people crossing their legs and there's only in a way one leg. Yes, regel 233, this is the value of regel, like Etz HaChaim. Etz HaChaim, tree of life. Etz HaChaim, tree of life, has the same value. You can check it. Also, it appears in Weinreb book. Yes, Etz HaChaim 233. So when sitting, yes, there is stability. The being, we are not of the process. This is the tree of life. So the flood. Now let's go to the equation. So what is the flood? Is an expression of what? The tree of knowledge. Yes, the flood is expression of the tree of knowledge. And sitting, yes, Vashem Lamabul Yeshev, and being is sitting, the presence, yes, is sitting, this is the tree of life, in front of the reality of the flood, of the tree of knowledge. Do we understand the picture which is described in this verse? I believe this is Psalms 29:10. You can check it. And I would like also to recommend us a beautiful Bible, Hebrew English Bible that I discovered a few minutes before this meeting. The Israelbible.com, theisraelbible.com. It has a better font, yes, and it has a better appearance. There are also pictures from Israel, like nature, everything is nature, and there's like few explanations from Weinreb there, yes? So it's beautiful. I did not know that this is even exist. Plus, it's not just English. Yes, Fernando, it's not just English Hebrew too. There's also transliteration, so you can read the Hebrew in English letters. So there are 3 versions, yes? Hebrew, English, and there's a transliteration, yes? And you can read the English like you speak Hebrew or like you read it originally in Hebrew. It's also visually, the site is more modern and fits our time. The Hebrew font is much better than Mechon Mamre. So if you want, there is a link here under notes, theisraelbible.com. It is very friendly. You can always scroll and find the right book and the right verse. And interesting. So, do we understand, yes, the reality that Psalms 29:10 tries to tell us? Hashem, the being, yes, Yod Hei Vav Hei, the being, Lamabul, to the flood, what? Is sitting. Is sitting. The sitting, like Fernando helped us, yes, beautiful. When there's a sitting, walking, yes, 2 legs, left, right, yes, sitting, there's no movement. Fernando says usually people crossing their legs, so there's only 1, there's no 2. And regel, like Weinreb found in his book, has the value of 233, like the value of the tree of life, Etz HaChaim. There is no movement, be still. And the sitting is against the noise, yes, of the flood. And the flood can sometimes comes from the outside. You scroll aside and there's a lot of ads and all kinds of pop-ups. And there's sometimes people are exchanging shouts, and sometimes there's engagement of the brain in a topic or issue that was a few years ago, and the flood can come from any hole. Let's call it like that. But the good news is that we are not of the flood. The flood is what? Is appearance. Yes? The flood is appearance. But we, our true nature, is not of the flood. Therefore, the being is sitting. Yes? Lamabul. To the presence of the flood, there's the sitting. We are not of the process in space and time. Now, interestingly, we have 7 days per week, and there's like 6 days of hectic, and there's a Shabbat, which people usually rest. In Israel, it's really the Saturday, which is a day of rest. And something very interestingly happens, and maybe you can also share from your experience, because it's great, because here everyone comes from a different country and he can share his or her experience regardless if it's Saturday or Sunday, because how it is for you. Usually what happens in the 6 days of the week, there's a lot of hectic running, try to do things, daily living, bring things, pay bills, meetings, and so when Friday afternoon comes, everything becomes silent, and there's like the evening comes, and all the thoughts and all the mental engagement that we have with the world is usually becomes silent and just drops. And there's like day of rest, then Shabbat comes, the Saturday, the few days, hours of rest. And when you wake up at Sunday morning, you wake up with completely different mindset. So every Shabbat or every week, basically we are moving from world to world. Now, what does it mean? All the issues, all the topics, all the important meetings that used to occupy us suddenly fade away, and then new reality emerges. The question is, do you feel this kind of setting also in your life? Fernando, maybe you can share. Yanis, Abigail, do you feel, Felipe, good morning. Do you feel the same? Whenever you return from a weekend, you face suddenly a different mindset, a different reality, issues that used to occupy you the previous week, like very important or most burning, suddenly do not exist. You don't remember that they even occupied you. Do you experience the same reality? Regardless if the day of rest is Sunday or any other day of the week. Do you feel this reality? Yanis, Felipe, Abigail, Fernando, would you like to share your experience? Did you notice this or not? Here it is very, very much felt. So every Saturday there's a not a movement, because nothing is moving. There is from world to world. All what happened in the 6 days, yes, of creation, yes, 6 days of this reality is cancelled. There's Saturday, there's the great nothing. It is great nothing because nothing moves here. I mean, people can go with the cars anyway. I mean, they can travel and so, but nothing, you feel this something in so not of motion, which is very ancient. And this not of motion or stillness, it's the background of which everything appears at. And when, I mean, let's say time progresses and so, Saturday night, Sunday morning, you are not the same one. Do you have this experience? Because we also were abroad in few countries, and abroad the resting day is Sunday. Yes, in Europe is Sunday, and in America I was also. We were in different places, and it does not feel like that. Here, maybe one day you will visit here, and this is not imagination. This is not. This is how it is. From week to week, we move from world to world. From the world that we know, so to speak, what is to know, to meet. When A meets B, the meeting, yes, is knowing, encounter. And then comes in a new week. A week that we did not meet yet. Do you have the same experience? Yanis in Singapore, Fernando in Brazil, Felipe, Abigail, do you notice this even? Or it's how it is in Brazil? Let's ask like this. How it is a weekend in Brazil, how it is weekend in Singapore, how it is weekend in Ghana. You can share. How does it feel like? Abigail, can you speak? Felipe, how is it weekend in Brazil? Clicked here. I hope it's working. Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how
Can
do
you
you
hear me?
do? Yes, I can.
Katie, I'm not sure if the connection will be stable. I am walking the outside, and just it's interesting because in Brazil, in my experience, or it's most common, I guess, we we just add another rest day with Sunday because we rest Saturday and Sunday. Uh, in the most cases, but of course there are many people working 6 days and rest 1 day of resting. But we sometimes we comment about this that we have this opportunity of having resting day in the Saturday and also in Sunday. And I remember when I lived in a smaller city that the Sundays were uh, really resting days because there were no commerce open, nothing open. It was everything, everyone were at their homes, families, so there were no options of just buying anything or going to an ice cream shop or something. And it's very interesting because this stop is not felt the same way, let's say, when, where I live today, Porto Alegre, because at Sundays, let's say, you want to buy anything you have at the mall, and everything is 24/7. No, 24, no, just on the day. There's no such a commerce in the night.
And
But
how, yes,
yes, please. Yes.
how do you feel the move? Do you notice a movement or a change between one week to another? Do you notice?
I don't know if I'm not sure. I cannot say I felt actually, to be honest. It's like I don't know, just never thought about it on this way.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. And Jan, can you share with us? Yes. How is in Singapore? How is the weekend? What is the resting day? Are there two resting days? How it is for you guys? Or in Singapore, can you speak? Hello, good evening. How do you do?
Um, I'm getting a lot of echo, so I don't think. Can you hear me? I'm hearing a lot of echo though.
Hello, Yanis.
Can Can you hear me?
Now better. Yes, yes, now better.
Okay. I'm hearing a lot of echo, so you may not hear my voice properly.
We hear you
Is it
well.
okay?
Yes, we hear you
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Saturday and Sunday are non-working days for us. So be- it's basically family time for many Singaporeans. Yeah, it's family time because Saturday and Sunday is the only time that they are not working.
And do you feel any change between one week to another in terms of mental activity, thoughts, what interests you? Do you notice a change in your perspective when you move from one world to another or from one week to another? Do you notice that you're moving from world to world, so to speak, or not?
I don't like really notice because I just live from day to day. So I don't. I mean, it's not like visible that you see like a like a difference, altogether.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish that everyone could join us for 1 or 2 weeks here, and maybe you have this uh, very much.
Because I think in Israel it's slightly different because in Israel Shabbat is really
Yep.
Shabbat. It's really rest. It's really rest from Friday night on to Saturday, where everything is just quiet. Shops are closed. But in Sin- in Singapore, it's not that way. Uh, Weekends are the only time that families are together, where they go out and eat. They go out, to the mall. So everything is very busy. A lot of activity outside. It's not like totally, like in Israel, everything just stops altogether.
Thank you, Yanis. And Fernando was writing. Today they will have to escort two kids for birthday parties, opposite and the rest. Yes, yes, it's true. Popcorn party, everything is jumping. Yanis, can you repeat? Because before there was interference with your voice, the last sentence, because the voice came like through a tunnel.
Um, as I was saying that in Israel, on a Shabbat from Friday, everything shuts down, everything closes. Even the restaurant, the shops, no, so everything is quiet. So you basically, know that, it's just a different world altogether. But here, Saturday and Sunday, the weekends are just not, people are not working. So they have other activities. So the malls are open, the shops are open, and people are with family, going places. So you don't like suddenly sense a quietness, like in Israel, where suddenly it's like everything is quiet, and then you step into a world of activity, into a world of rest,
Yes.
and then you
Yes,
start
this is how
again
it is. Very, very,
the,
very
the week
precise.
after
Very
the
precise.
Shabbat.
It's a movement from world to world.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
don't experience that
it's true what you
because
say. There is
activity
activity, but
continues,
in a
but in a
different form.
different
People go
form.
to the malls, to the nature. Yes, and there's still continues the doer or the experiencer is still out and about.
Yes,
Yes. So there is no, there is no, how do you say this, psalms, yes, does not
yes,
exist because the Shem
yes.
Lamabuli, the being is sitting to the front. There is no, because people take speedboats, yes, they take canoe in nature, they climb mountains. It's a free time for the family, yes.
Mm.
So they parachute from airplanes, they do ski, water ski, but it's still activity,
Yes,
yes. Yes. Activity do not produce stillness. So the more we go for activity, this is interesting.
correct,
This is why here it is so. I don't.
correct.
I was not visiting every country in the world. Not really not. But something like this does not exist in the places that I visited. No. Like in Europe, it's like in America. Yes, you have like Saturday and Sunday, but still there's a lot of activity. People go to museums, they go to nature, bicycle, boats, whatever, airplanes, whatever. So I remember once in America, it was like so hectic that everybody went out, and I said, "Go wherever you want. I'm staying in the room in the rain. I just want to have some peace. I just don't care what you would like to see out and about. I could not. Just because our true nature, and this is the point, our true nature is the Shabbat. This is the nomenon. Yes, this is our true nature, the Shabbat, the soul. Yes, our true nature is the Shabbat.
Yes, I agree.
This is the holiness. The soul is holy. Yes. But the brain, yes, when the baby is born, after a few months, is the development, and there's like we grow to believe that we are the brain. This is connected to the body, and we are the story, and so. But our true nature is the Shabbat. This is our true nature, not over time.
Which is
Yes.
which is just to be quiet.
Because
Yeah,
everything stands, and this is
just
from
rest
this root we
and do
have
nothing.
also the Shemitah, like let the land rest after the 6th year, and then 7 times Shemitah rest, there's a Jubilee. The cycle, yes, because once that someone sits and do nothing, there's a noticing. The sun is shining, moon is coming, stars, birds. We don't do anything. This is how life is. So it gives a lot of peace, also to the brain.
Yeah, it was just like today, because the other day I asked you the question, is there a new heaven and a new earth? And I was with a friend and we were speaking, and I told her, every day things are changing. It's just that we do not notice it because we are so busy with doing what we are doing every day, and without noticing, that there is a bird, flying above, there's chirping, or like this morning, the birds were making a lot of noise, like an alarm clock. Nobody noticed it because we are so busy, doing our own things that we don't notice
This is
the
the
nature
flood.
around us
Yeah,
that's
the flood
happening,
is not
or the
just a
change that's happening
historical
around us.
event. Yes, this is the flood. Tack, 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 tack. And this is it. And the next verse after this, yes, Hashem למבול ישב, Hashem יברך את עמו yes, in peace. Yes, bless his people in peace.
The peace yeah, in peace. Yeah. Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, especially Psalms 29, where it speaks about the voices of the Lord, the voice of the being, over everything, and then suddenly it comes, to that verse, where it talks about um, the Lord is enthroned in the flood, the being is enthroned in the flood, and then followed with the
Yes.
last verse that
And
he
this is
blesses the
quite
people with
interesting
peace.
because there's a
This is
great part of
from
Sefer
verse 1
HaBahir,
right up to
the
the
book
last
of
verse is
Bahir,
also beautiful.
which deals with the 7 voices of being. Yes? Great part of the book is dedicated to the 7 voices of being. We are just in the beginning of it, but it's amazing, amazing. And there's a question also. Why there are 10 fingers? This is a great question. There are 10 fingers, but only 7 voices of being. What is the difference between 7 and 10, and why is it like that? That voices can be expressed only in the realm of 7, while the potency is 10. This is what the book of Bahir deals with. One of the major questions there. And later we shall find the same question in the book of Zohar. Yes? And this is why in the foreword to the book of Zohar there's a question about air, avir, and or, light. What is the relation between air and light? Yes? There's like beautiful crossroad here in this book. Are there any questions or sharing? Fernando, Felipe, Yanis, Abigail.
Beautiful post from Facebook.
If not, we would like to wish everyone a great week, a new world, and we can meet here on Monday at the same time. I mean, in Israel, it's going to be winter clock. You'll get a notification of your local time, and I shall be very happy to see you here and to hear from you. Toda, shalom, shavua tov, and see you as soon as possible. להתראות.